With all that's been said about the other 3 loyal members of the Black Order, there is one left that gave his life to Thanos' cause. Fellow watchers, let's take a look at Corvus Glaive, the last of Thanos' loyal children in the Black Order. Corvus Glaive has a lot of similarities to his fellow members, once again being from a world that Thanos destroyed and in the process kidnapped, raised, trained, and brainwashed not only him but his brother Cole Obsidian. On top of his blood brother being with him in the Order, he was also married to Proxima Midnight, as we mentioned in our video on her. In the comics, Corvus has a few details that differ from the MCU doppelganger, although one of these could come into play later on in the MCU. In the comics, Corvus isn't just a simple warrior fighting for Thanos, he is also the one sent to planets Thanos has conquered to collect tribute for the Mad Titan from those who are under his control and rule. Since Thanos' goals in the MCU are vastly different, where Thanos sees himself as the hero trying to save the universe rather than just a simple conqueror, in the MCU, Corvus Glaive does not need to fill the role of collector of tribute, mostly because when Thanos is done with the planet, he moves on believing he has healed it. Another thing that Corvus claimed in the comics was that he was second in command of Thanos' forces. In the MCU, however, this role seems to fall to Ebony Maw, who in the comics isn't an original member but one that finds his way into the Order later on in life. So, in the comics, Corvus was Thanos' master tactician and strategist due to his intelligence and ambition. But that ambition didn't always work in his favor, especially when he took advantage of his master's absence and claimed all of Thanos' domain as his own. Upon Thanos' return, Corvus did not stand a chance after betraying Thanos. Because the Mad Titan was significantly stronger than Corvus, he easily defeated him and was forced to either allow Thanos to kill him or kill himself for his insolence. Because he feared what the Mad Titan would do to him, he killed himself with his own broken glaive. This leads to the last thing that we see in the comics but have not yet seen in the MCU, at least so far. There is a reason Corvus' name is Corvus Glaive, and that is because the glaive he carries grants him immortality. So, as long as it is intact, he will essentially live forever. So when he killed himself after his defeat by Thanos, he does so with his broken glaive as he knew that Thanos knew that meant permanent death. But earlier on in life, this did help him out with his original conquest with Thanos. While searching for Thanos' son Thane, they are all defeated by the Avengers. Thanos and Proxima get encased in amber, and Corvus' body was atomized, leaving only the glaive behind. After this defeat, the amber and the glaive were placed in Wakanda's necropolis. But unknown to the Avengers, over time Corvus regenerated and freed Thanos and his wife so they could all escape from Wakanda. This ability or power could show up in the MCU, as Corvus' glaive from 2018 very well might still be intact in Wakanda. We don't exactly know to what extent Tony Stark's snap affected Thanos' followers, and it very well may have just dusted the army that came through with Thanos from 2014. This likely means that the glaive itself from 2014 also vanished with the rest of Thanos' army and children, with the exception of Gamora. But the glaive used in 2018 could still be in storage somewhere in Wakanda, possibly slowly regenerating the original Corvus killed by Vision. This could be setting up an appearance possibly in Black Panther 2. While there was no hinting to this ability, nothing was said that it's not a possibility, especially because as far as we know, the glaive is intact, as none of the Avengers would have been aware that it is how he regenerates. In the MCU, Corvus' history follows much of the rest of the Black Order. He and his wife are initially tasked with retrieving the Mind Stone from Vision, and once assigned the task, it became his sole purpose, and he focused solely on taking the stone and proving his power was greater than Vision's. This shows that he was fiercely loyal and would kill anyone who got in the way of him achieving his goals. He proved this again in Wakanda when he nearly slaughters everyone to get the Mind Stone before Shuri is able to extract it. While a formidable fighter, he is not Thanos' best by far, being bested by quite a few on multiple occasions, as it seems his arrogance and anger clouded his situational awareness. In the attempt to get the Mind Stone in Wakanda, he is distracted from getting the Mind Stone while fighting Shuri and Okoye. Due to this, he does not notice Vision and is forced out the window by him. Also, in his initial attempt to get the stone, he was defeated by Black Widow, allowing her to best him fairly easily. He is nowhere near the combatant his wife is, who faced multiple opponents with ease, whereas when he faced off against Captain America, who interrupted him from getting the Mind Stone, he could only focus on Cap in his anger for distracting him from achieving his goals. Due to this, he didn't notice Vision retrieve the glaive, eventually leading to his death at Vision's hands. Even in his first fight with Vision, although he severely wounded Vision, Vision was able to throw him around fairly easily. Once set off by Corvus threatening Wanda, Vision rampages a bit and shows that Corvus' strength and fighting ability does not match the Synthezoid. But where Corvus falls short in combat, he excels in stealth and infiltration. He makes it through the Wakandan laboratory seemingly with ease, likely killing many along the way as he snuck around. He even gets the drop on Wanda and Vision when he first stabs Vision in the back, while Wanda is looking in his direction. In the shadows, he's highly effective, but on the battlefield as he approaches enemies head-on, he once again loses the upper hand in most cases. Again, his anger seems to be his biggest weakness, and it comes out as he approaches his goal, possibly a mix of anger and overzealousness. And then there's also his arrogance, a flaw he shares with just about every other member of the Black Order. Where in his case, instead of just taking the stone from Vision's heads, he needs to make a point that he thinks Vision is just as weak as humans. This small bit of monologuing allowed Captain America to step in and turn the battle away from Vision. His anger also seemed to play a part in his death in 2023, because when they neared the end of the battle and they realized that they might be losing, he seems to fight a little bit more angrily and frantically as he jumps at Okoye in anger and fanatical desire to keep the stones from reaching their goal, ultimately leading to his death once again, as in this final push, Okoye stabs him and puts him down fairly easily. Although Corvus failed on multiple occasions and was probably the weakest member of the Black Order, he was still a force to be feared by those who were not the mightiest of Earth's defenders. He was still fairly strong and did have a tremendous amount of strength to be able to face off against Vision and Captain America. He was also fairly durable and very quick to heal, as he was not terribly affected by getting blasted through the window by Scarlet Witch, showing up fine a few moments later, and even took a few direct blows to the face from Captain America's vibranium shields, and kept on fighting with the same fervor that almost led to him defeating Cap. He was fairly quick, although not extremely agile, quickly avoiding Shuri's gauntlets but not able to match the agility of Black Widow as she dodged and outmaneuvered him, stabbing him, and leading to his and Proxima's retreat, and Okoye in their final battle stabbing him through the heart. Despite all this, he was a master user of his glaive, the weapon he was named for, as it was stronger than vibranium and could have been as sharp as the comic book version, with the ability to cut through atoms and therefore through anything, which is why he can cut through Vision even when he is phasing his density to pass through attacks. And his glaive could also have been tied to his being and life force as it was summoned from Steve's hand to Corvus after their first encounter, and as stated before, could be part of his regenerative abilities, which if true could explain his carelessness in battle because he knew that he could not truly die. Corvus again is the last of Thanos' loyal children, and while interesting, especially if we possibly see him again, he is not the most powerful or fearsome, and may even be the weakest overall of all Thanos' Black Order. But this is not the last we see of the Black Order members as a whole, as so far we have only talked about the loyal ones. Because, after all, Gamora and Nebula are still Thanos' children, and not to mention, we need to talk more about the leader of the Black Order himself, Thanos. So watchers, keep an eye out on future videos on the rest of Thanos' family. What did you think of Corvus Glaive, and do you think he is the weakest of Thanos' team? And do you think we could see him again if his life is really tied to his glaive? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to tell us your thoughts in the comments below, and then like this video and subscribe to the Marvelous Wave to assemble and join our team, and have a great day.